Like FBO is a term you guys started throwing around when I started hanging out with y'all, but I had no idea, that it was like the flying Buckies of the sky, man. Like
It is. It's the Buckies of the airplane world. The easiest way to explain it is an airplane truck stop. It's where people get on and off the airplane and avoid all the lovely comings and goings of the public terminal and nice lobby and place for people to hang out.
What's up, guys? It's Travis, founder and CEO of Haven. Just wanted to give you a quick glimpse into the new FBO, reaching near completion of construction, getting ready to start loading this thing up with furniture and finishing up a few details so we can start providing the FBO services out here for you. Hey, this is Travis with Haven. We're here at the grand opening for the FBO. Super excited about all the team and all the dedication and inspiring people that have been involved with this along the way. And it's a big milestone for Haven and the Graham family and us, and just excited to get it done. What is happening, guys? We're so excited today. It's finally grand opening day for the FBO here in Amarillo. Got a bunch of people coming in, have a lot of customers, clients, vendors, friends coming in from all over the place. Really appreciate all the people that took time out of their day, and especially the ones that had to travel here and be a part of this special event with us. This FBO's been really close to 3 years in the making to get this thing up and going. A monumental amount of work from everybody involved, everything from our partners on building the hangar and the facilities and all the staff that we've had to recruit and hire and train to get the first FBO up and going. Been really inspiring to me to watch how everybody's kind of picked up the torch with me and Robin and ran with it. And we've had a lot of cheerleaders, a lot of supporters. We're very fortunate there. Part of that is with all these people coming into town. I've got a few of my favorite people with me right now. Probably not a real common phrase for people. I got my aviation attorney, Paul, here with us, and I got my aviation insurance guru, Mr. Big Lou, here with me. We're just having a little conversation about kind of what's going on in some of those markets and picking their brains a little bit while we have the opportunity here. These two are very long in their careers, experts, professionals. I've been through a lot of people with their expertise, and there's a reason that I use them so much is because they're very good at what they do. So wealth of knowledge in their fields and know a lot more than I do. So it's a great opportunity to just ask them a few questions and see what's going on in their piece of the world. So thank you guys for being here. Super cool. So glad you guys took the time to travel down and hang out and visit with us and celebrate this event with us. I really appreciate that.
We're thrilled to be here and support.
It's awesome.
Thanks for the invite.
So Mr. Paul, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sure. I'm Paul Lang. My law firm is Law Offices of Paul A. Lang, LLC, and we've got 5 lawyers and 3 support staff, and we represent aviation businesses, not unlike the entire portfolio here at Haven.
Nice.
And that's why we're so thrilled to be here to support the ongoing efforts that now we can see this beautiful facility here and be here on opening day. And so the support that we provide for the likes of Haven and other aviation businesses include a heavy aviation regulatory practice where 3 of us came out of FAA, and it's basically everything we did at FAA. Now we work for
do the other
folks
side
on
of
the other
coin.
side.
Yeah.
And then the second piece, we do transactions, so everything from buy, sell, lease aircraft to FBO, M&A work, and so on. And then when things go wrong, we litigate it too. So those are the 3 practice areas for aviation businesses. And the most important part is we get to play with airplanes every single day.
It's super fun, ain't it?
It sure is.
Not a bad thing. So
love being here in an airport, and especially for opening day here at the FBO.
It's super cool. I appreciate it. Mr. Lou, what about you, man?
I'm Lou Timpanaro. I am a Senior Vice President of Alliant Aviation. Alliant is the 5th largest broker in the United States. We're the largest specialty broker out there. I work on aviation risk from drones to the space shuttle and everything in between. We're fortunate enough to work with Travis and Robin and Havenero. Came out from New York to visit them today with this launch, which is very exciting. It's good to see, general aviation grow these days. I expect to have a lot of fun today.
You both forgot your cowboy hats at the door, though.
I did.
I forgot I was supposed to supply those today,
Yeah.
wasn't I? That was part of the deal, wasn't
I left my Yankee hat in the car.
So, what's some big stuff going on in the insurance world right now? Has there been any big changes? I know, of course, with insurance, it feels like our rates kind of go up year over year. I know our last renewal, you guys did a really good job of getting us actually some decreases, which was a welcome reprise. But I know in general we seem to have uptick in accidents and incidents the last few years. How's that driving it? Just maybe an overall kind of state of the insurance world.
Sure. Yeah, it's a bit of a dynamic market. There's, the Russia-Ukraine saga that's still lingering out there in the courts. We have the American Airlines accident in D.C.
Yeah.
We've got a number of airline accidents around the globe and weather-related issues here in the United States. And what most don't, realize, especially with weather-related accidents, when a hurricane or a tornado wipes out an airport, you're talking 100, 200, 300 million dollars.
Oh wow!
And the insurance community has to do an immediate payout on that. So that kind of hits the underwriting community pretty hard. Despite all that, it has been a buyer's market right now. I mean, you kind of scratch your head and say, how does that work? Well, the dynamics are that insurance companies all buy insurance protection, and those insurance protections come up different times of the year. Generally speaking, January 1, some in April, some in July. I've been told that reinsurance is and has gone up with a couple of carriers right now, but they haven't been passing on those costs to their customers for fear of losing the business. I guess when everybody's in the same bucket right after the new year, then there might be a slight surge in that direction. But the market is trying to find its way. There's a few new entrants out there that keeps it fluid, keeps it a good market for customers. Partnerships and differentiation is the key. Coming out today, for instance, to observe your opening and actually see your facility for the first time, other than when it was a shell.
Yeah.
Helps me garner what I want to communicate with your underwriters and differentiate you, from other FBOs, right? Capital providers nowadays are very, very focused on exposure base, and the more that you can, share with the underwriter and they understand, the less, surprise that they're going to have down the road.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we do at Alliant that's very unique. We have a one-stop shop approach. So we do all lines of insurance just for aviation customers. And that appeals very much so to the underwriting community, because a lot of the claims nowadays are coming from the non-aviation side.
Gotcha.
So a limo hitting a 727 or 767 on the ramp, or an engine being shipped on a truck, have an accident, a lot of the non-aviation stuff that the aviation insurance community has been accommodating has been causing, tens of millions of unexpected losses. So being as detailed as you can about a risk, demonstrating a command of the subject matter, whether it be independent contractors, whether it be the shipment of goods, whether it be contract, whatever it may be, underwriters, welcome that. So that at the end of the day, when their boss turns to them and say, "Why did you do this?" Well, because of this,
Right.
and this.
Makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
Is there one or two like things that a lot of people miss when they just go to Joe Blow Insurance Company to get insurance on their airplane, or like our portfolio, I feel like is pretty complicated because we have so many lines of business and so many things we're doing. But just your average airplane owner that's listening or might be tuning in out there, what's some common things they might miss when they just go, hey, my normal agent that I always use, I need some airplane insurance. Are there some like key things in the industry that get forgotten a lot or leave them exposed?
Yeah, I mean, listen, aviation insurance obviously is niche business, and it has some very, very talented people out there, agents, brokers. I think the shift in is concept of risk management, right? Risk management is everywhere in our society today, and I think some agents and brokers aren't shifting enough, right? And I think the days of going to the insurance marketplace, getting quotes, and then just giving it to you are kind of over. It's more advisory, right? It's more of helping you manage your P&L. And, it can go from, pilot selection, it can go to utilization of the equipment, nature of operations, and, a lot of that sound advice, which comes from experience, which is out there in the industry, is where I think there's a big change and a big movement. And that's what the capital providers are looking to glean from. They're trying to be selective.
Yeah.
So the more that you can differentiate yourself from the rest out there, whether it be training, whether you store your aircraft, whatever you do that makes you different, that they want to hear it.
Right.
This episode is brought to you by Haven ASG. Looking to buy your first private aircraft or upgrade your current bird? Travis and the team at Haven Aviation Services Group has you covered. From finding the jet of your dreams to selling your old model, our expert brokerage teams handle every detail, connecting you to the right deal for the right aircraft every time. Visit havenasg.com/flyinghigh today for your custom experience to begin. Again, that's havenasg.com/flyinghigh, or just click the link in the show notes. Now back to the show.
What about on the legal side of things? How's everything in that world? Any big changes? Any real common things you see people fumble over? Or how's things in your world?
Well, first of all, it's a great time to be an aviation lawyer.
Yeah.
It's always been great just being around airplanes all the time. But right now we're in the midst of the fourth quarter rush on aircraft transactions, where everybody, for their own individual tax reasons, wants to get it done by the end of the year, even though their bonus depreciation is not going to change at the end of this year like it has in many past years. And then similarly, folks who are interested in like hangar development, because as we all know, there's a nationwide hangar shortage.
Right.
So that's a very fun, dynamic, interesting place to be, because it's actually building things.
Right.
It's building aviation businesses. And for aviation folks like us, that is just inspiring.
Right.
Similarly, on the regulatory practice that we have, obviously with the government shutdown, very dynamic policy changes in the administration this year, then some long-term multi-year projects that have come to fruition like Mosaic and others have really come to fruition to actually advance, whether it's a 135 world, whether it's a 145 repair station world, any other types of certificate holders, large 121 air carriers, or even various specialty lines of helicopter external load certificates, you name it. And so all of those things are very dynamic, and it's fun helping to build businesses and avoid the traps that you see when you follow these things through a multi-year regulatory process.
Right.
And then there's the litigation piece, where there's been some financial challenges where owners, in particular, who may have had differing ideas on how they were going to perhaps make money with their airplanes,
Right.
and differing views on how much charter they were going to get and or rose-colored glasses and things
Right.
like that, and things didn't turn out the way they wanted. And so we have seen in the last year or two an uptick in litigation where there's been commercial disputes and challenges over charter management type contracts. So that's kind of like the high level overview of what we're seeing in our practice. And but in the end, we get to play with airplanes
Yeah.
every day.
That's one of the things that we are frequently battling in our marketplace is the number of we call them 134 and a halves,
Right.
the Part 91 fractional operators that are not operating under 91 rules correctly. They're really running like a Part 135
Without the overhead.
And so we spend an enormous amount of money to do it correctly, and having all the 119 personnel and the FAA inspections and doing dotting the I's and crossing the T's and spending a lot more money to make sure we meet that safety threshold and the requirements to go out for public to hire us to go fly them somewhere. And then there's just a lot of operators out there right now that are circumventing all that by running the Part 91 stuff. And I don't think a lot of those owners that are doing that understand the personal financial liability they're taking on by being the operator of that airplane versus having an operator conduct the flights for them under the operational control. You guys seen much going on in that world on your side? I mean, that's a daily conversation for me, but I don't know how much
it's fairly common for us. I mean, it's a long-term industry problem.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you call it 134 and a half based on, Part 135 of the FARs, or some people when they try and run them through what they call dry leases.
Right.
And then instead of 134 and a half, we call those damp leases because they're really wet leases in disguise,
right?
Which are then
leases.
illegal if you don't have the air carrier certificate. Right. And so, there's a lot of folks who are new to it, new owners.
They don't know any better.
They don't know any better, and they hire a person that they trust to guide them through this. And sometimes there's not the attention to detail and the follow through and the structure around it that the owners then appreciate.
Right.
And that is a significant challenge to educate those folks on the subterfuge of the risks that they're taking when they don't have that structure, the massive structure that you have as a 135 operator of manuals that are vetted ad infinitum by FAA and sending them back to you over and over again for changes of individual words.
Yeah.
And so all the manuals, all the processes, all the individual folks that you have for functions, various functions within the organization, and then subject to routine and surprise audits by FAA. And it's not just one FAA. You're going to have your ops people. You're going to have your maintenance people. You're going to have your avionics people from the FAA all descending on you, and they don't necessarily even talk to each other.
Right.
So I think that's what a lot of owners don't fully appreciate is that level of oversight and audit, including surprise audits, that they don't get with damp leases.
I thought I've heard about every aviation term out there, and that's a new one.
Damp leases are new?
I'm going to stick that one in my pocket because that is one I haven't heard before. So on the insurance side, have you guys ran into much related to that side of it?
Underwriters are kind of buckling down. We had a incident a number of years ago out of Teterboro. It was a pretty bad one. And underwriters have become a lot more astute in their underwriting, protocols. And usually, that's vetted pretty well by the aviation insurance community. I mean, there's a lot of old school pilots that took the profession of insurance and add a lot of value to the industry. It's just, operators tend to find, the right people to go to. Maybe they're not as experienced. Maybe they're millennials and don't really focus on the industry like the old school does. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that's been tightened up.
For us here at Haven, and the reason we're interacting with both of you so often is we're not a single vertical entity. You know, we have the aircraft brokerage, we have the charter company, and we're operating Falcons and light jets and turboprops and everything over there. We've had the MROs, which was our original startup area. You know, that was our original vertical that we started the company with, and now we've added the FBO on there. And so one reason that I have to bug you guys so often is because there's a lot of overlap of liability on the insurance side. There's a lot of overlap on the regulatory side of, well, we're doing the maintenance on the airplane, but we're also flying the airplane and we're also putting fuel in the airplane. So we got to be super tight on making sure we're not missing any pieces in there. How is that for you guys versus maybe some of your other clients that are single entity units and stuff? Is it a lot different working with Haven in that regard, or is that pretty common for you guys?
Well, I mean, from our perspective at Haven, it's an organized portfolio. There's intentionality in terms of actually making it all work together instead of separate, independent, distinct parts that don't talk to each other. That doesn't happen here. And quite honestly, that's one of the things that's most fulfilling about working with the Haven team, is that they are so intentional, thoughtful in advance, work together, and in fact talk to each other. And that it makes us feel a welcome part of building something great here, which is, again, why it makes it that much more fun to be here on opening day of this beautiful new FBO facility.
That's awesome. Well, we sure appreciate all the support we get out of you, for sure.
Doing aviation insurance for 40 years, you tend to get bored.
I don't let you get bored, do I?
No, you don't. So we have spiced it up with a one-stop shop approach, which kind of gels very nicely with Haven Aero. Generally speaking, you know, there's the aviation insurance specialist, and then there's your property and casualty specialist. We do it all just for aviation customers. It's old school account executive work where you can talk to one person about anything and anything related to your business, and then you know, apply the right insurances, wrap it around it. So we tend to, more complexity, the better the risk is for us, the more fun, right? Because that's a bit of a challenge. You know, I don't consider myself as an insurance broker. I consider myself as a P&L protector.
Right.
And, you know, when you're dealing with the C-suite and they are relying on you to make business decisions that affect their life, you know, I take that serious. You know, usually the level of cooperation that we get, like we do with Haven Aero and the different departments, it makes it easier and it feels like you're building something together.
Right.
So, you know, we like to pursue complex risks for that reason.
It's awesome. Well, yet again, super excited you guys took time out of your schedules and came to Amarillo to see us. And thank you for sitting down for a few minutes with me and let me pick your brain a little bit about what's going on in the industry. And I think it's time to go mingle and maybe have a drink and a sandwich and check out the new place. You guys ready?
Ready.
All right. Thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
All right.
Thanks.